I got into a little flow this summer of testing adventure bikes. It was the first time for me, but the frustrating thing was that I never really got to see them in the space where they command. I never got to really take them off-road. So when I got my hands on the 390 Adventure from KTM, there was one place I knew I had to take it. Up to Wales, to my stepdad's farm, to see whether or not this entry-priced adventure bike offers entry-level performance. I don't think it did. We bonded, me and Katie. She's called Katie now, and she will be mine. I'm going to buy her off the dealer.
Hey, you chill out. You chill out, Bob. No, you can't have a go. No. The nice thing for me about taking an adventure bike like the 390 off-road is that it's nice and small, it's manageable. If you come unstuck, I want to be on a bike that I feel like I could potentially muscle around if needs be. On hills like this, for example. Because if you need to hop off, or if you drop it, you want to know that you can get the thing back up again. And I feel like with this bike I actually could, if it came to it. And the power is about as much as I would want. Any more than that, and I think I'd probably end up wheel spinning more often than I would like to. So honestly, if I was going to buy an adventure bike, something to just razz around on, because I'm not going to do that much off-road, I'd buy this. And to be honest with you, it doesn't feel that small. It doesn't feel like a dinky little toy. It feels like a pretty grown-up bike. It feels more than capable of being a second bike for someone, and a really decent starter if you want to go that route as well. Something that you can cut your teeth on. I mean, the footage probably isn't selling how steep that hill is actually. It's only grass, granted, it's nothing too extreme. But that's a real steep hill. Oh, we've cocked up. Uh-oh. We slowed down too much. Oh, come on. Get some traction. I got you. Oh, f me. It's pretty steep. It's pretty steep, yeah. Fucking hell. Knackered now.
As I say, I am lucky enough to know somebody who owns some fields. So I was able to see what the bike can do in novice hands, let's be fair. I'm confident enough to try stuff, but I really don't have the experience to say I know what I'm doing off-road. The good thing for me is that this light little off-roader can be quite forgiving. With that aside, however, let's address some of the specification. Now let's start, strangely enough, with the price. This bike in the UK right now costs £5,499. Keep that in mind while I list the rest of the specs. You'll probably be familiar with the engine. It is their 373cc single-cylinder motor. It offers 43 horsepower and 37 Newton meters of torque. The 390 Adventure is obviously a little bit heavier than its siblings, the 390 Duke or the RC 390. But even with that slight extra heft, it does not feel underpowered. So much so that it will sit quite comfortably at 90 miles an hour if you are so inclined. 70 is easy. Your interaction goes through a ride-by-wire throttle and it has 6 gears to drive that to the rear wheel. I mentioned weight, so let me clarify, it's 158 kilograms dry, roughly. The low weight, the relatively low seat height, or comfortable seat height, it's 855 millimeters, but it tapers quite nicely, so it's easy enough to flat foot. All of these things are a benefit to a complete novice like myself because it makes it feel particularly manageable.
It's a family affair. Are you struggling, Mum? Are you struggling? You see I've got a full camera crew. I love this thing. It is fun little bike to play around on. And I think, honestly, that 390 engine, I've only tried it in one other bike actually, but I prefer it in this one to the Duke. The 390 Duke is fine, but I think maybe the extra weight of this, maybe they've tuned it slightly differently, whatever it is, or maybe it's just that it's the newest version of it. It's so easy to get along with. Oh, it's a little stiffer than I thought. Cheers, Dale. Yeah, straight into it then, are we? He's not slowing down, is he? Utter bastard. I don't think it's the usual protocol that the camera car tries to lose the bike. Handbrake on, yeah? Otherwise that is going for a trip. I don't fancy Mum's chances.
I've seen all we need to see up here. We're going up to the big hill.
This isn't the big hill.
It's got WP suspension front and back. That has separate function adjustability on the front for compression and rebound. And the rear WP Apex shock has adjustability for preload and rebound. They've also fitted it as standard with Continental TKC 70s on the 19-inch front and 17-inch rear. The suspension is a little cushy. It's an adventure bike. That's to be expected on the road. And then it is nice and sturdy and comforting off-road. You can even sit pretty much in the saddle, take it over some ruts and bumps, and it's not even really going to bounce you out of the seat too much. The tyres are, again, confidence-inspiring, great for the road. I certainly didn't feel held back or hindered because of them. And then when we got on the off-road stuff, and it was pretty muddy, pretty sloppy stuff, it was comfortable going through a ford, it was comfortable doing the mud plug-in, it was comfortable on gravel as well. Take on some seriously gnarly stuff and I'm sure you'd want something maybe a little bit more off-road focused, but seriously, for everything I did, they felt fine, including the sweat through ride home that I had as well.
Down there is where we made boggy little donuts on the quad bike. Probably won't be doing that. Got a gravel path as well. This has everything I need to make it look semi-decent, eh? Including a Ford crossing, way! That was nice.
Brakes are from Brembo, and to be frank, they could be better. You've got a 320mm disc on the front, 230 on the rear, single disc on the front as well, obviously, and a 4-piston radial mounted caliper, and then a single piston caliper on the rear. Didn't feel dangerous by any stretch of the imagination, just not quite as sharp as maybe I wanted.
We are literally herding sheep. Is that what I'm here to do? I don't come here to work, I'll have you know. Oh, you are having a laugh? Are you joking, mate? Have you seen the gradient on this? You go right off that ridge. That slope kind of concerned me, I'll be honest. There wasn't a lot of runoff. I saw you go down it, I was like, I'm just going to take a second and assess it before I shoot off down there.
It's got a 14.5 litre tank that is supposed to, according to KTM, give you about 248 miles. I'm not sure if I believe that. KTMs, or at least the ones that I've been on more recently, are quite good for their fuel economy and their fuel range actually, even with smaller tanks like this. But I think mine was listed something around 200. To be fair though, I was taking it on a few different varieties of terrain and riding conditions. So I'm sure that had something to do with it.
Ready to race? I don't know who I'm racing out here. Maybe the sheep, maybe the cows. I don't know. If I press set, I can go into the motorcycle settings, I can turn ABS to off-road, and I can turn traction control off if I hold down that button, and it will probably tell me that that is not safe to do on the road, nor is turning off the ABS, but it is only on the rear, and if you want to do off-roading, I've been told by those who know better that it's quite handy.
Electronics, you have a full colour TFT display, you have phone connectivity delivered through the KTM app. You have switchable ABS for off-road mode if you want, which turns off the ABS on the rear and limits it on the front. It's got cornering ABS, it's also got lean sensitive traction control, again switchable. And if you go for the extra package, and I would recommend going for it, you will also have a quick shifter. It's cleverly delivered, and actually if you're going to take it off-road, I think probably quite useful so that you can forget about using your hands and just grip onto the bike a little bit better. No bike is perfect. There were a few little things that bugged me after riding it for a few days. First one I noticed was the full beam switch. Is a switch that you pass with your knuckle and you just slide it out. And you will inevitably at some point brush past it as you go to change gear and inadvertently leave it on and blind people. If you were one of the people that I rode past on the way up, I apologise. It was the bike. The screen says adjustable, but I wouldn't bother adjusting it. It makes very little difference whichever position it's in. And then the big one for me, and it's common on a lot of KTMs and Husqvarnas that I've tried recently, it does not have a neutral. It doesn't exist. I even tried just believing that it was there and then moving my foot, and I'd look down and it was still in second gear.
You see what I mean? Second, first, and second, and first, and second. And I swear to God I'm being as delicate as I can be. Yeah, that's first. Yeah, that's second. Yeah, that's first. Yeah, that's second. And we'll just turn you off, shall we? How sensitive was that? Dainty little foot. Whose dainty little foot is going to get that while the motor's running? No one, I tell you. And we're going to be good humans and shut the farm gate after you leave, people. Where's my favourite? Toothless. Hello, Toothless. Hello, Toothless. Hello. You sweet little thing.
Fair to say that I really enjoyed my time on the 390 Adventure. It's such a good little all-rounder. For my specific needs, if I was going to go off-road, it certainly isn't the majority of the riding that I'm going to be doing. So either I get a bike that is more road focused but can do a little bit of off-road, or I get a second bike that can do that. And I'd say if you're looking for a second bike, or if you've just passed your test and you're looking for your first bike, £5,500 is a nice price point, especially considering what you're getting here. It is big enough, grown up enough, mature enough, commanding enough, comfortable enough to do some mid to long range touring, but it is still small enough to feel manageable, completely unintimidating, and fun when you get on the gnarly stuff, on all the grass and the gravel and the cow shit in the streams. I can't think of a better adventure than to take this thing to go and see my family for some quality time and get this little mini adventure bike all the way to the top of a mini mountain and watch my mum hanging at the back of a Land Rover, bumping her head the whole way, filming me. Good on you, Mum. Well done. Quality shots, albeit a little bit shaky, but I can't hold that against you because Dale wasn't exactly going slow.
Go on. Come on. We got this. That's where traction control might be a good idea. Come on, bike. Come on, KTM. Oh, I believe in you. You absolute beaut. That was not a place where I wanted to stop. Let's put it that way.
We don't have to go back down that way.
No.
There's another way.
There's an easier way.
There is another way.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I could see where you are, and I just thought, this is extreme on that bike.
And for Mum, God bless her. Look at her face. She's got a 1,000-yard stare.
I urge you to check it out, and if you are so inclined, buy it and go and find your own little mini adventure as well. I guarantee you, if I owned this bike, I would be finding lots of excuses to get out and ride, which is probably a good thing because then that gives people much less of a chance to actually stop and drink it in, because by Christ it is ugly. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next one. Ta-ra.